here we are sitting on the floor, about to move into the head to knee pose. And Steve and Rebecca have lifted their pelvis so that they can actually hinge forward more easily from their hips. It's advisable, if you've got your blanket, to place it under your hips, and that just lifts you ready for the pose. So you're going to take 3 breaths now, breathing in, reaching forward and over past the toes as you exhale. Inhaling, lengthening up, and exhaling, moving past the toes. And at the 3rd breath, just hold it forward with a nice flat back, emphasis on lengthening through the front of your spine as you continue to take some deep breaths. Just letting your elbows drop away towards the floor. Coming up from that, you're going to take your bent leg, place it to the outside of your straight leg, flex your toes in a lengthened way, move around for a twist, bring your hand behind you and place it behind your back, your hand acting as a stake to give you a little bit of a support to move up and away from. Thinking about the poise of your head on top of your lengthened spine. Coming back to the centre, change legs. And again, thinking up from the hips, making sure you're sitting forward of your sitting bones. Exhaling as you come forward. Inhaling as you lengthen up. Exhaling as you come forward. And just holding it down there for a few breaths until the muscles lengthen and release. So inhaling, lengthening, exhaling, softening and releasing. The thought is, when you inhale, you lengthen. As you exhale, soften and release into the pose. And coming up from that, taking that bent leg, just placing it to the outside of the leg. Again, sitting as tall as you can, moving around for the twist. Just make a fist with your hand, place it behind your buttocks and use it to get around a little more. And just flex that foot a little more, Steve, bring it up towards you. That's perfect. And coming back to the centre, spread your legs as wide as possible. We're going to move into the open angle pose. So if you've got a lot of padding under those buttock bones, just lift your buttocks and place all that flesh behind you so you're sitting forward of your sitting bones, and keeping your feet pointing up to the ceiling, begin to take it forward. And this is a really strong inner thigh stretch. Trying to get your elbows to the floor. When you get really good, you may be able to get your chest to the floor. And coming up, let's do some side bending in this position. Breathing in and breathing out. Now, if you're not terribly flexible, bring your hand to the outside of your foot in line with your torso. Just a couple of inhalations and exhalations, and just holding it over to one side. The hand is over the head, and just feel that stretch laterally through the side of the body for a couple of breaths. And coming up, same thing on the other side. The head can look up to the ceiling. And coming back and up, folding one leg in. Again, make sure that you're sitting forward of your sitting bones. Inhaling, bringing those hands up, reaching around for the toes, round for the back or the inner thigh. And this is a forward bending twist. And just coming up now with your knee in line with your hip. Lengthen the leg away, lengthen the hand away, and reach out and away out of the hips. And again, come back to your breath, the rising and the falling of your abdomen, which will become second nature to you the more that you think about the breath as you're doing this yoga sequence. And changing sides. Breathing in and breathing out. Again, you're trying to lift and twist and rotate through the torso. And bringing your knee in line with your hip, stretching out and right through the side of the body. And now we move into perhaps the most challenging of the poses, forward bend with both legs straight. Now I'm going to demonstrate a version with the legs bent, And Steve and Rebecca are going to, Steve's going to use his tie and Rebecca's going to show us how flexible she is. So let's take our breaths, breathing in and breathing out. I'll let you continue with that. I'm going to bring my knees up to my chest, walk my heels down, keeping my knees level with my thighs. And when you've done your 3 breaths, just hold it. And I'm going to hold this as a forward bend with my head just relaxed, my chest resting on my legs. See if I can slide my hands out and bring my hands down. Still keeping my legs slightly bent. And we're now going to move into the breathing phase of this yoga video. I'm going to be breathing on my own and Steve and Rebecca are going to be coordinating their breath and just getting in tune with each other's breath and where the breathing may be deeper and where they can actually help to increase the capacity of the lungs in this breathing exercise. So we're going to visualize that we're breathing in for a slow count of 4, sending the breath right up through the spine, pausing for 2 when the breath comes right up, and breathing out for a count of 4 and pausing for 2. We're then going to move to another exercise, but let's just work on breathing in for a count of 4, pausing for 2 and breathing out for a count of 4 and pausing for 2. With no strain and no effort. You can close your eyes or you can leave them open. When you get really good at this, you can breathe in for a count of 6 and pause for 3. And out for a count of 6 and pause for 3. As we started the video with Salute to the Sun, a balancing and harmonizing exercise, so we conclude the video with a balancing and harmonizing breath called alternate nostril breathing. We need to bring the first 2 fingers of one hand to the space between the eyebrows, breathe in through both nostrils, gently close off one nostril and breathe out through the other. So we're breathing in through one nostril, pausing, closing off that nostril and breathing out through the other. And let's breathe in, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, out, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, in, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, out, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2. And you continue with your own counting for a few rounds. And notice the calming and balancing effect on all of the systems in your body, particularly your nervous system. And when you finish the one that you're doing, continue to keep the eyes closed, bring the palms back down to the lap, and mentally direct the breath from right to left and left to right.